How you going, guys? Welcome to the channel. So this episode's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be sort of a bit of a mashup of a few things. I've been getting down, doing the wet rubbing on this ute, getting it ready for polishing. I also do a few repairs and stuff to my HZ's parcel shelf. But yeah, apart from that, there really hasn't been much car progress going on. Not on film anyway. I've been doing a bit of yard work and shit around the place. And yeah, also been helping my brother out with his car that he's doing over on his channel. Giving him a hand, getting stuff ready to be filled up, primed, painted, that sort of stuff. Been helping do a little bit of painting as well, so that's been pretty fun. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's sort of a bit of a mix and match of stuff. So yeah, a little bit of metal work, a little bit of getting stuff ready to be sort of polished. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Cheers. Now, I've just made enough just to sort of cover the bulk of the shaped area. This area is pretty flat, so I'm not going to get too worried about that. If you've seen my other video on filling in parcel shelf holes, you'll see that I actually get rid of this, and I'm going to do the same thing on this car just because I think it looks a little bit nicer. But yeah, basically what I've done is I've got my template, which has given me this sort of dish shape. So I'll take that one off. Ironically, it's a speaker box, so what you'd get your 6x9 speakers in. Spin that around the right way, and yeah, that's basically that one just there. So like I said, I've got my my shaped areas, which I've got marked out on a bit of tin. It's just a bit of 1mm steel, and yeah, then I just basically added 40mm on this end and then another 200 on this end, so hopefully that should all cover all of that. And yeah, I'm going to get this chopped out, get it folded up, and hopefully it'll find its way to the car. Now, if anyone's ever used a handbrake before, or any type of folder, you'll find when you come to do stuff like this, where then you need to put a little, now it's about 10mm, sort of just in from that one, and you work your way inwards, outwards, which isn't quite the way that you should be able to do it, or that you should do it, because what will happen is you'll try and slide this into the brake, and because it's got a bend there and you're putting it in this way because you're doing a reverse bend, you actually won't be able to get it in deep enough. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a trick with just this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, bear with me, I'll get a clamp. This one should work. It's just some vice grips. So what we'll do is we'll clamp this one like that. Doesn't matter, it's just to sort of take up that 1mm sort of gap. And we're going to put this one right here. Now remember, we've got the 1mm gap in between there, so we can fire up the welder. Lay on some bird turd welds. Drew up just a little bit, but I probably should have tacked it before running a bead on it, but that's fine. Probably won't get a whole lot of use out of this one. That might help if I take them out. Piss this earth off. Earth. Oh. Now, what we can do is we can now slide that in like that, and then we'll actually use the bit of tin as the handle, and we can now bend that up. So that's just another little trick that you can use. Might not work on everything, but it'll work on this one. Put it over here, I reckon. slide him in like that. Doesn't need a whole lot, so I'll just put a little bit of a tweak in that. Something like that. So we're starting to put that sort of that 90-degree bend in there. It's a little bit hard because this stuff is got a bit more of a roll into it, but that's fine. We can tidy that up with hammer and dolly. But yeah, that's basically the quick way to get yourself out of trouble with this sort of stuff, just by doing something like that. Alright, so I've got that patch panel for the parcel shelf on this side all fabbed up. So that's pretty much how that one will look through there. Obviously I still need to trim it down a little bit, cut it into the parcel shelf and take it in and what have you, but that's how that one's looking at the moment. I'll have to take the boot lid off before I do that, but anyway, before I do that, because obviously I'll need a hand to do that and I don't have a hand at the moment, but I'm going to go and fab up the other side as well. But yeah, just thought I'd show you guys just a little bit of how that's looking, so yeah, there she is. Alrighty, so we've got this patch panel all fabbed up. It's not fitting too bad. Yes, it needs a little bit of a push down at the back, maybe a little bit of a pull up at the front, which is why I've got this little magnet and the screwdriver there. Got a magnet down at this end just to basically to stop that from falling in down into the boot. And yeah, then I just got these two clecos as overlapped on the factory panel underneath. But yeah, that's really all it needs. You don't need to be pushing and pulling excessively. If you need to do that, your panel doesn't fit. Spend a little bit more time getting your panel to fit right, and you know, you won't have to wrestle with it like what some people do. But hey, yeah, that's just where it is, and yeah, I'll get this one tucked in and give you another look. So because this car's going to have an exposed parcel shelf, I'm not really a big fan of this circle right here, and obviously all of this is going to get filled in. So I've thought of a way that I can sort of jazz it up a little bit and not have it a little bit not so looking like this sort of stuff. And the way that I've come about that is I've made up this piece, which I'll have a video on later, and that one's going to sit in there, so it sort of just continues that nice sort of hollow recessed theme throughout the rest of the parcel shelf, and I just think it looks a little bit nicer than just a bit of a flat plate through there. So I'm going to get that one cut out now, and I'm going to do it in such a way that I can actually save this original piece, because a lot of these cars have been hacked up like this one for speakers and what have you, and you know, for someone or even myself later on down the track, maybe on another car, probably not this one, but if I need to repair something that's already had this speaker cut out, it'd be nice just to be able to walk to the shelf and, you know, just put an original one back in there. Alright, so all the welding and cleanup's been done across this parcel shelf. The only thing I've got left to do is the little plug welds back down this way, and because I've had the clecos in those holes to hold all this in down while I've been welding this stuff out and what have you, I've just got myself, I think it's about a 6mm drill bit, and I'll put up a little photo on the end of somewhere around here, just of the end of how I've sharpened that, and I've done it in a way that it's got a bit of a point in the middle, and then it's sort of stepped, so it's more like a spot weld drill bit, but I've just sharpened it myself on the bench grinder. And what that'll do is that'll just take the edge off the way of the hole that I want to drill. So I'm not going to be drilling all the way through, but the reason why I do that is because I want to be able to get a nice weld down inside the 1/8 drill bit hole, but also I don't want to be filling, you know, a 6mm hole underneath in the bottom side. So that's just another little thing that I do sort of to get around that. But anyway, I just thought I'd show that with you guys. Alright, that's the parcel shelf all wrapped up. Reckon that's come up looking pretty good for what it was. There's those plug welds all finished off. Alright, going to make a start on cutting this one back because it's been sitting for a little while. Going to get it ready for polishing now. I'm going to start my first cut back with some 1200 using the Norton paper, the wet and dry. Always like to sort of get that stuff to sort of soak in a little bit so it really softens up the paper so you don't end up with any scratching of the corners of the paper when you're blocking it all out. And basically with the 1200, this is just the stuff I'm going to be focusing on. Like I've got a big bit of crack just in the top of that quarter panel just there, and there's a few other spots like that. Oh, there's another one just there. And I'm just going to focus on those just at the moment. And then sort of try and blend in those 1200 scratches into the rest of the peel. And then I'll go back over it with something a little bit not as coarse. Alright, getting pretty close with this one now. So this side's all been finished off with the 3000. As you can see, it's actually got a little bit of gloss back into it. Not quite as shiny as it was before, but it's all been cut back pretty nicely. Some areas I didn't get too carried away with, like around the wheel arch, sort of like below the knee, so like down from this far down. I have sort of just given it a little bit of a flatten off just with some 2000 and some 3000 for a bit of a denib. But yeah, it's not coming up too bad. Pretty happy with it all. This pillar come up looking pretty nice so far. Not that you can really see it. Just making my way around on the roof now. That's just been cut back with the 2000 just on this side. Alright, so I've got a little bit of a run on this quarter panel. That's only a small one for me. And how I'm going to attack this one is I've got a little bit of Perspex, which is the same stuff that I used on my light covers in this shed. And I've got myself some 1200. Now, a few guys would probably go and use a bit of 800 or something like that, which is fine, that works, cuts down pretty well, but I find if you use something that's a little bit harder as a block, it really seems that you don't need to go as harsh on your papers and it will cut just as hard, just as flat, so get a little bit of water on him. A little bit tricky because this one doesn't have a handle. You just go something like that just over the run. I've also put a little bit of guide cut on this just as a bit of a visual aid. Keep in mind this clear is only a few weeks old, so it still hasn't fully cured just yet. So it's still a little bit dolly, especially for a run of this size. Some people like to use a little bit of fine filler or something, and they'll sort of skim over the run, and they'll get their 800. And basically they'll use the bit of the filler as
sort of a barrier to sort of keep off the bit of paint that you don't want to sand. I haven't done that before, but might be something that I look into in the future. But I think this works alright. Getting runs out can be pretty tricky, especially if you're not wanting to rub through. I think I'll probably leave that, and then I'll go to a 1500, but I've still got this one down here to go. There's a bit of a stinker down there. But what I say, if you don't get a run, you're not trying hard enough. And believe you me, I try on every single thing I paint. I always find myself in the last section that I always paint, I usually slow right down. Especially on a job of this size, probably because I'm getting a little bit tired, a bit fatigued. That's where I normally find I gotta run. I'm pretty close with this one now. Move on over to a softer block. Alright, now that we've got the run out, I can now go over this live quarter panel with 1500, 2000 and then 3000. Alright, so that's this one all prepped up. 1200, 1500, 2000 and then 3000. So from here I'm going to start with the lamb's wool cutting pad. I'm using the 3D polishers. I haven't actually got that stuff in yet, so that's why I haven't started that. But hopefully that comes in soon. Not sure if it will be in soon enough that it will make it into this video, but we'll see. But yeah, it's come up looking pretty good. There's a few bits that I might need to touch up sort of as I'm sort of buffing along the car, but that's sort of to be expected on a job this size. So yeah, give you guys a little bit of a look over. So here's how she's coming up. As you can see, even when you finish off with 3000, it's still a little bit hazy, but it's not too bad. It should buff up pretty well. I haven't sort of worried too much, you know, sort of below the knee sort of area. This thing's not a show car at the end of the day, it's just to sort of refine what's already there. Roof should come up pretty well. One more run down here. Did end up getting a little bit of a run just on this quarter panel, but got that one out sort of off film. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.